The past 2 days have been wild when it comes to the Overwatch voice actor situation, and some of the posts that she's made on social media recently have blown up, gotten a lot of attention, and she really just seems like a terrible person. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, everybody's going to have their own opinion, and not everybody can be correct 24/7. But when you are a public face and you are now representing a massive company, you need to be a little bit more professional. And some of the posts that she has been making have gotten a lot of attention, and it doesn't paint her in a very positive light. This is the type of person that best describes English or Western voice actors. They feel entitled, they are narcissists, and really they are activists. And if you criticize her or the demands that she's making, well, apparently you're just an alt-right incel, and she even goes on to attack America. It is just a slew of insults being levied towards people, which isn't a good look. She has gotten a lot of attention recently, and while I do technically hate to give her more, I think that it's important to call her out. So I did another video on this topic, it will be linked down below, but the TLDR is that Fariha is now voicing this new Overwatch hero on Ron, and she felt like she was promised a different character design, that this character didn't look more like her in the final version. She was furious, and she even admitted that she talked to the designers of this character privately, and they told her that they were not going to change it, and so she took this public. She is mad that she didn't get her way privately, so she was smearing Blizzard out in the open, and Blizzard has now responded to all of this backlash, confirming that they will be redesigning this character after outcry from quote-unquote fans, even though it really just started because of her video. And they said the team is currently discussing what it will take, and we agree she could be even better if we get this aspect of her right in the game. Now, Fariha here, this voice actress, is sort of blowing up online. She has said that it is amazing that she finally got her way, but, well, she's facing a lot of backlash. Blizzard is facing a lot of backlash, and there's some posts now that are getting a lot of attention. So this is the first one that I saw that was a major red flag. She had said that she held off on posting about this because she wanted to make sure she could do this discussion justice, and somebody commented, "Help us push the agenda," and she said, "I shall," with a saluting face. So right off the bat, somebody who just wants her opinion heard, her followers' opinion heard. She doesn't want actually to represent the Overwatch fandom, just wants to push an agenda. But she then followed up in another thread saying, "I don't know if it's representative of Chinese culture. I think they specifically are just alt-right incels." Novastar here, with the trans flag in their title, said, "Yeah, you might have a point, but the Chinese culture glorifies pedophilia and lack of consent and misogyny." So we're throwing every word at the wall and hoping it sticks. And then Fariha said, "I feel this way about some anime, and then I remember the news about certain files coming out of the US, and it's like, oh, this is not exclusive to any single country. It's one that stems from patriarchy and power taken through a violent meme." So it seems that she's sort of tiptoeing around the topic. She wants to mention the Epstein files without actually talking about it in depth. And yeah, there are people from all around the world that are in those files, and there are some absolutely heinous and disgusting and repulsive and degenerate things that were done. But talking about how, oh, it stems from patriarchy and power taken through violent means, while also talking about like glorifying things like lack of consent and misogyny. I mean, oh my God, just throw every buzzword at the wall and hope it sticks. And then it boils down to, oh, it's just alt-right incels that seem to be fighting back against her character redesign. But Savvy had also posted that if you're going to talk about these greatest hits, add this gem. The new Overwatch VA has a history of very activist language, which is why she got hired. Not only is she shitting on a VA for wrong thing, but then does the outlandish thing of bringing up NZ Germany. We know that when that happens, people typically get fired. Look at what happened with Gina Carano. But of course, she's going to bring it up and face no repercussions because this is Blizzard we're talking about. Fariha said these skins are awesome, their sounds and visual designs are amazing, but I do agree with everyone saying it remains deeply dissonant to have Farah, of all characters, be voiced by an outspoken Zionist. Free Palestine. I always say this, I should not have to give a fuck about a voice actor or writer or developer's opinions, but when you make it your entire personality on social media, yeah, I am going to call you out for it. Now, if you are going to sit here and say that you stand for inclusivity and diversity, that doesn't just mean inclusivity of skin color and sexuality, that also means inclusivity and diversity of thought and opinion and ideology. They're not inclusive when it comes to ideology because they feel like they are the ones who should be in charge, in positions of power, and everybody has to agree with them or you're going to be canceled. Here is the second part of that thread where someone named Easy Snaps responded with, "There's nothing we can do about it. This has been a fight that has been going on since biblical times. Both sides have seen chaos and are victims to undeserved civilian casualties. No matter who you are, you don't want to see your people hurt or killed. That's why she speaks out. And yeah, it should be pretty normal to not want people to die." But then Fariha says that both sides' argument holds no water when it comes to Germany's actions in 1940. Why do you think it applies here? Think on that. Because they are two completely different situations. Yes, again, Easy Snap said it perfectly. Nobody wants their people to be hurt or killed. Why does Fariha have to sit here and ultimately fight back and then use, of course, one of the most dramatic examples possible? Oh my gosh, this person is insufferable. And clearly, I'm not alone in thinking that because so many of the responses on these threads are, wow, this is so freaking weird. Here we have Savvy's thread on it, and people are saying things like, the devs actually have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever and make her hotter, and we know for a fact that they're not going to do that. She acts like she's a celebrity who has yet to be brought down to earth by a brutal executive. She is unhinged with her previous posts, straight out of gender studies courses. Did she just make a German reference over a game? Holy fuck. This is what happens when the ego rises above their head. I'm getting tired of these effing tourists. Agreed, I could have gotten behind the mismatch between the game model and the drawn depiction, but the BS activism and her weird rant is now tied to it forever. I was thinking about picking up the game again on Switch 2, and now I'm completely out. She's also very xenophobic. Just admit you don't like video games, Grifter. There are a few people that are very upset that Savvy is calling out this unhinged voice actress, which is insane, but so are these people. You can tell that this is the type of person that Blizzard has been hiring. It's no shocker to see that they are not going to fire her or refuse to work with her in the future. And Severus Chud says it perfectly. You cave to the worst person imaginable, someone privileged enough to be voiced in your game, who immediately used that platform to attack and pressure you into uglifying a hero for being too attractive. You learned absolutely nothing. These people see that the idea of Overwatch appealing to men at all, anything attractive or fun, breaks their illusion, so they scream from social media until everything is uglified, ideologically gay, and stripped of every ounce of joy. The majority of players who enjoy your game do not want this. And yeah, I mean, Blizzard does not give a fuck. And instead of, I don't know, taking a moment and ultimately a step back to see what the overall sentiment is, they just decided to cave under pressure because their voice actor said, no, I want this character to be a different way and you should do right by me. So yeah, this person is getting absolutely wrecked on social media. They have a very questionable history of social media posts, and all I know is I personally am not going to be re-downloading Overwatch, even though I was interested in two of the new heroes. They are not going to get me back in this title again. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.